He wears a pocket protector as a fashion accessory, but he is a nerd. Bringing you the latest in computers and gadgetry, here's Benjamin Rockwell with Computer Talk Radio.
The website, computertalkradio.com, computertalkradio.com. Before I even give out the phone number, I'm going to mention that I do have the Christmas computer buying guide up there online for you to check out. This is free from any influence. This isn't anything that's sponsored or anything like that, unlike some of the other guides that I've seen out there. This is purely my professional opinion all the way along. And again, computertalkradio.com. And I go through a number of different aspects. We talked about it last week. You can get the audio online, of course, through the podcast. But there you go. The phone number, 888-NERD, 888. That's 888-6373-888. We're going to be covering all kinds of different things. I've got a couple of reviews we're going to get in here during today. We're also going to be talking about Christmas buying tips, Christmas gift ideas, and more. But of course, tech news does not stop at Christmas time. There is all kinds of different stuff that's happened over the course of the last 2 weeks. And I went through and I just decided to pick out the highlights, the ones that came to mind the most. And let's see how fast we get through any of these. First, let's dive in with basically, as you probably might have heard, 75 years ago, this past week, December 7th, was Pearl Harbor. Yes, Pearl Harbor Day. And within the days following, a gentleman stepped forward. He dropped out of college, and he went into the U.S. Army Air Corps. He then shifted a little bit and became a Marine, and then shifted a little bit again and went into being a test pilot, and then went into NASA, and he eventually wound up circling the Earth 3 times. He also passed away the day after Pearl Harbor Day.
Godspeed, John Glenn.
Wow. That's one of those things that just boggles your mind, I guess. He was the last of the original 7 astronauts, the guys that were all part of the Mercury 7 crew, basically. So, yeah. AT&T. Well, it's been coming out that AT&T has been going crazy with this thing called the Hemisphere spy program. And this entire concept is just amazing, and there's information coming out right now. And EFF, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, basically said this, quote, police refer to Hemisphere as a, quote, super search engine and, quote, Google on steroids, because it provides access to trillions of domestic and international phone call records dating back 30 years. Each day, I'm just going to shortcut it, 4 billion phone records are added to the system every day, including calls from non-AT&T customers that just pass through their hardware. That's just creepy. This is one of those things where the shareholders are freaking out. A lot of people are going, what is going on here? It's not a matter of our government that we have to worry about. Well, yeah, we do have to worry about that. But this is just these carriers are going crazy. They're doing all kinds of crazy stuff to track us. But we kind of knew that. We kind of know that. So I don't know where we're going with this, but it's not going to be good, whatever it is. So Motorola, well, it turns out that they have announced that they're not going to be releasing a new smartwatch. They may be looking at getting out of the business. That came out real early in the week. But then on Pearl Harbor Day, December 7th, another smartwatch company also decided to announce they're leaving the business. Pebble announced that they're being bought by Fitbit, but only parts of them. And they are basically abandoning. This is ugly. This is truly ugly. They are abandoning anybody who has a Pebble. They're basically, the devices are going to continue to work, but they're not going to do anything in regards to fulfilling any outstanding orders past a matter of about a week from now, and they're going to take a little while before they start giving out refunds, 10 days. These refunds are going to be going back to people who've paid in on existing Kickstarter product. Yeah, just crazy. And no warranty support, any returns, anything, all the way along. They're just abandoning the entire concept. Fitbit is going to collect on something there, but I don't know what. Georgia's, this is something that we're just getting the early information. Georgia's Secretary of State is saying that the Department of Homeland Security has been trying to hack them. Let me run this by you again. Basically, one of the states is claiming that the feds are trying to penetrate through the state's IT firewall. This is downright chilling. This is something that I'm going to be following this. I am very concerned about this, and I'm wondering where this is going to go. This could be something that's a spoof or something like that, but there's been a lot of mudslinging already in regards to this. Facebook, Twitter, Google, and Microsoft are teaming up to stop terrorist content. What? Terrorist content? Okay. Well, they're claiming that they're going to be tracking the digital fingerprints of the various accounts that share terrorist images and videos across their respective networks. Okay. And this is something that's very interesting, that they're going to be tracking all kinds of data and, of course, making it identifiable. But who is going to decide who is a terrorist and who is not a terrorist? And this is a problem that we're moving along through. We're starting to wonder what exactly is truth and reality as far as all of these things. Okay, to me, truth is truth. Reality is reality. Truth, by its very nature, has to be true. Now, a lot of people have been talking about fake news, but the fake news is it's an opinion frequently that, oh, that's fake news. Well, no, if you dig all the way down, it is real news and it's real information. And a number of people are talking about the idea that protecting us from fake news is the entire way for Facebook to provide certain people a safe space. Now, you know what a safe space is, right? It's where certain people who are sitting there, they can't be presented with something contrary to their opinions because it might hurt their feelings. Okay, maybe I'm going a little bit harsh, but look, I didn't have a safe space growing up. I will tell you, I was a nerd going through high school. Guaranteed, you're a nerd already. We're already going to get picked on. But I was one of the youngest kids in class. How young? Well, I was the second youngest in class throughout my 4 years of high school. I went to a 4-year high school, not a 3-year high school, in case you're like in one of those areas which has 3 years. But you get the idea. So yeah, I got the double whammy. I didn't have a safe space. Part of that is how I grew. That's part of that was how I just developed into the nerd that I am today. And unfortunately, we're moving along with these ideas where different people, whether we're talking law professors or people out there in the media who are saying that we need to revisit the limits on free speech. And I'm sorry, free speech is free speech. This is for all of us. This is our chance to talk about stuff. And the idea of safe spaces and the idea of revising the First Amendment, yeah, getting a little uncomfortable if you ask me. There's so much here. Yeah, let's move on. Let's get into the regular stuff here on Computer Talk Radio.
Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio, so I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theradiofactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time. theradiofactory.com.
Are you buying a computer for your family this Christmas? If you are, you might want to go online to the website and check out the gift buying guide. Really, it's the computer buying guide. But if you're buying a computer as a gift, that's the guide that answers a lot of the questions. If you have any other questions, you can always call me, and contact me. There's links to contacting me at computertalkradio.com. The guide is at computertalkradio.com. Everything that you might imagine, well, not really, but a lot of stuff in regards to the show is at, yes, let's all say it together, computertalkradio.com. I'm so silly today. I have no idea why I'm doing this. But anyways, one of the things, let me get on track. One of the things that I want to talk about is one of the biggest items that people overlook at this time of year. And we get all of these different gift items. We get all of these different technology and high technology items. And I spent only a matter of a moment or so on the gift buying guide. I mentioned, hey, you might want to get a battery backup for your new PC. But I'm going to tell you right now, this is probably the biggest gift I see people overlooking, especially since this is kind of like insurance. No, it is insurance. The surge protector and the battery backup, these two items exist to protect your investment. Okay, so you go on out and you buy a $2,000 television. Do you just plug it straight into the wall? No. What about your $2,000 computer? Do you plug that straight into the wall? No. You have to plug it into a battery backup. This is, at a minimum, a true heavy-duty surge protector. None of these silly little $5 power strips. Look at the thing. If it has nobody's name on it, right off, that's a warning. That's a power strip. That's nothing. There's zero protection for your system. You're plugging it straight into the wall. Yeah, zero protection. So what are we talking about? Well, you want something that is going to give you a warranty on the equipment that you're plugging into it. For instance, okay, so I'm looking at right now, I've got a box from Cyberpower, and they talk about a 3-year product warranty, and this is kind of neat. On a number of them, I don't know on this one if this is actually the warranty covers the battery as well. I believe it does. I believe this is one of the neat things that they do with their warranties. But we're seeing a number of different things on here. For instance, this one says 526 joules. Joules. This is how much surge protection that this system has. But it also has $100,000 of connected equipment guarantee. So what they're doing is basically something happens to my computer that's plugged into this. Well, hey, I don't buy $100,000 computers. I don't know if you do. You might have a lot of other equipment plugged into it, but they're pretty much protecting you. They're covering you with this. And this guy's kind of neat. It has an eco mode as well. And that eco mode allows you to, when you turn off the computer, it feels the electricity going off on the computer. So then it turns off the monitors. So you don't even have to worry about it. When you turn off the computer, all of the monitors go off, or whatever else that you plug into it. That is a neat little concept there. So, and that still is one of those things that's surge protected. All of this is. One, and this is just one of the battery backups from Cyberpower. These guys have a number of other things as well. They've got the surge protectors. They deal with the business line. One of the things that that really caught my eye was a system that is designed specifically for your high-end gaming systems. Now, okay, I'm going to tell you right up front, if you have an Xbox or a PS4, you don't want to be plugging those into just any old surge protector or even into the power strips themselves. You want something that is truly a fully fledged sine wave of electricity. Most of these guys, these battery backups, they do a simulated sine wave. A simulated sine wave. What do I mean by that? So it still operates like a sine wave. And if you've seen a sine wave, it's that oscilloscope thing. You see the little TV screen and a little curvy thing going back and forth. And that's a sine wave. Now, a simulated sine wave is digital. So what it does is it's all choppy. It's a matter of it, if we think about the sine wave as going from left to right. These are the cycles of electricity coming into your house. You may have heard this, a matter of 60 hertz. Yeah, we've got 110 volts, 120 volts sometimes is what we call it too. But we've got that sine wave, that 60 hertz sine wave. So it goes in that nice fancy curve back and forth. Electricity going in one direction and then the other direction. But when it's simulated, it's digital. So it's basically going into your system that's protected in a choppy way. So think of us having a bunch of numbers, and it's moving back and forth, and it's 10 on the left and 10 on the right. So we go through and it does a little stair step of 1 to the right, 2 to the right, 3 to the right, 4 to the right, 5 to the right, and then so forth and so on. And it comes on back and then it goes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to the right, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left. But it's that choppy thing that kind of messes around with the really higher-end home theater equipment, your higher-end computers, and yes, the gaming systems. That's okay. There are a few different companies out there. Again, Cyberpower has this really neat one. I haven't had a chance to look at this other than just they sent me some information on it. It's the GX1325U. This is a pricey item. But again, we go back to that insurance thing. You're paying insurance to protect whatever it is that you have. Yeah, we can get a warranty, an extended warranty, but you know what? Those extended warranties don't always cover things like acts of God. What? Oh, yeah. What is an act of God? Oh, I don't know. Perhaps that lightning strike coming on down. And all of a sudden you're sitting there and your Xbox and your television, they're gone. I'm telling you, it is not worth or it's completely worthless to put a $5 power strip there. It's not even worth messing around with some of these cheaper items. You want to look at stuff that's built for the situation you're dealing with. So I'm going to be really looking at a number of these different things over the coming year, but I'm telling you right now, the best company I've found so far, there are a few different companies in the industry. Cyberpower has become, over the course of the last year, I've had a chance to look at a number of these. As a matter of fact, I'm looking right here. I've got this one is the EC 650. I've got the EC 850 and up on a test bed, and we're talking about protection that is top notch. You just can't put just the cheap stuff out there. Look at all of the different options. Of course, there's a number of different things. Let's say you want it to communicate with your system, turn it off on the power when the power goes out. You can link that UPS to your PC. You can also set up a number of different guidelines through their software. This is something that is really key when you're talking about protecting your computer. What good does it do to have a battery backup? The power goes out, and then the power runs out on the battery backup. Okay, so you want your computer to safely shut down. You ever unplug your computer while it was running? Yeah, that can be bad. Yeah, take it from me. I've had that happen before. This is Benjamin Rockwell. We've got some more Christmas tips coming up next here on Computer Talk Radio. I'm constantly looking for the right place to get computer hardware. It's not easy, as there are so many stores that have gone out of business, so many shady characters online, or they're simply not capable of handling diverse needs. In 1979, two guys got together and built a computer company that could serve your nerdy needs. Micro Center. The wide range of products at Micro Center includes even the latest of Raspberry Pi, Arduino, and other hobbyist-level computers. They also have drones. They've got them in all price categories, from toys to, oh boy. Look, you're looking for console gaming, home automation. Micro Center's got that. Hardware, software, accessories, or, well, whatever. It doesn't matter. From Apple to Zyxel, Micro Center has what you're looking for. 25 stores across the nation, or you can check them out online at microcenter.com. That's microcenter.com. The phone number, 888-NERD, 888. That's 888-637-3888. I am, yes, a nerd. I think you already knew that. I hope you already knew that. I've been doing this nerd thing for, well, as long as I've been alive. Pretty much. Yeah, I enjoy it. And I love bringing all of you guys along with me on my nerd voyages throughout my life. It's one of those things where I hope to impart some of my experience and some of my knowledge onto you. So let me go through some of these different holiday shopping tips for your safety. And look, this is the season right now. It's here, and everybody is planning to just get whatever they can onto the lean budgets that they've got. We all work with a budget. Hopefully, you've got a Christmas budget. You don't just go on out and say, "Oh, I'm going to buy a bunch of different things." If you buy a bunch of different things, let me give you my address. It's available. You just ship me stuff if you're buying stuff for random people. No. Look, there are tips, there are tricks, and some of these, I think we already know this. You don't purchase from, for instance, a spam. You really don't purchase from any kind of spam these days. I'll make a minor exception. If you're getting an email from Amazon and you go to the Amazon website, or this could be Best Buy or somebody you've done business with in the past, That's one thing. I wish that you would be careful. Do not click on the links that are in that email. Don't go, okay, here's an email from Amazon. Okay, click through. You're going to go to the Amazon website. You're going to go through and you're going to reach them directly. And by doing that, you're ensuring that the spammers aren't going to get your information. But otherwise, look, avoid the pop-ups, avoid the spams. Hopefully you're using a pop-up blocker. But, avoid this, especially since at this time of year we see all kinds of different scams. Over the previous years, there was the RC car concept, those little small RC cars, and everybody was fascinated with them. So what did the spammers do? This year I haven't really been paying attention. I'm guessing that other people are going to be doing knockoffs of the Nintendo Classic console. It's one of those things. Yeah, we're going to see all kinds of stuff like that. I also want you to protect yourself prior to shopping online. This means, yes, a virus scanning software. Symantec, McAfee, Trend Micro, ESET, something, anything. Why? Yeah, because they're going to protect you as you're moving through the different websites. They're going to make sure that you don't download something that shouldn't be downloaded. Additionally, I want you to patch your computer completely. That means, yes, Windows Update. If you're shopping out in public, Zone Alarm Free is a product out there that I've recommended. Like all of these different names out here, these are just examples. You can turn on the firewall within your system. You probably have some level of firewall, whether you're talking a Mac or Windows. Windows has their firewall, Mac has their firewall. But these are ways to make sure that the information stays at least somewhat secure. You also want to make sure that you're looking for the lock icon on your browser status bar. Sometimes it's a matter of turning the entire bar green. That's fine too. It turns red if it's not secure. It turns green if it's secure. The lock looks locked if it's secure, so forth. You want to be careful about items that just sound too good to be true. I mean, look, we know this. You're not going to get an iPhone, a free computer, or a free flat screen just by answering a few silly questions. Oh, we only need 5 minutes of your time. You just click here, click here, click here. Oh, we're going to send you that screen. It doesn't happen that way. I want you to be careful about purchasing things on eBay or actually any auction site. There's a couple of different things. Yes, there's eBay, and then there's the fake auctions. Those ones where you're bidding and you're going to buy that particular item for only $30, but you have to basically bid to bid. Basically, you're bidding $1, or you're basically paying $1 for each time you make a bid on that. So in the end, you're paying a lot more money to get that $30 bid. And yeah, it's all ugly. It's all, yeah. Avoid any kind of auction site other than eBay. I mean, eBay is a little bit different, but you still need to read the guides on eBay on how to avoid a scam. You also want to make sure that you're not sending off money via some weird payment method. For eBay, PayPal is the only way. And even then, that's still going to be, if you run into problems, it's going to be a while. Stick with the reputable sites. Big names that you're familiar with, that you've shopped with. But I also want you to be aware that even the reputable sites these days, they're basically saying that you're going to need to read the fine print. There are a variety of different sales gimmicks along the way. And yeah, this is one of those things where you got to be careful, especially this time of year. And we don't necessarily have to limit this concept to just online. I've got a store which I've purchased new $100, $200 items to find out in the parking lot that it was not only used but abused. Also, I want you to be careful about extended warranties. You know, these extended warranties are kind of a little bit crazy. I've got a guideline here. If you're doing an extended warranty, nothing over about 10 to 15% of the price. I call it 12%. That's really my guideline. And I use that because you don't know where these companies are going to be in a matter of 3 or 5 years. How's that warranty working for your old Sharper Image air purifier? Or you remember Circuit City? Yeah, the extended warranty from Circuit City. They tried to sell me one. The last time I was purchasing at Circuit City, I was like, you guys are out of business. How are you going to back this? Yeah. And price anything with and without the rebate. I'll tell you, it's worth spending an extra 2%, 5% to not deal with the rebate. I mean, that's priceless. That is just, yeah. This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. I'll be back with more in just a moment.
Hi, this is Benjamin Rockwell. Most of us use digital cameras nowadays, but what do we do with those old pictures and slides in the back of the closet? Well, let me tell you about Legacy Digital Productions. They specialize in taking your old memories on film, videotape, and slides and digitizing them to DVDs. If you have boxes of old slides, then you know they fade more and more each year. Let Legacy Digital scan them for you and stop the aging process dead in its tracks. You'll get beautiful 10-megapixel digital files, color-corrected and ready for printing. All this is done faster and cheaper than buying a film scanner and doing it yourself. Your files are then burned onto gold archival DVD discs where they will last for generations. Call right now, mention my name, Benjamin Rockwell, and receive a 30% discount on your order. Call toll-free 1-866-2-LEGACY. That's 1-866-2-LEGACY. And tell them Benjamin sent you. Your memories are priceless, so call 866-2-LEGACY now.
Keith M. Sedor is a Mac. Benjamin Rockwell is a PC. I think a fanboy fight is about to start.
The website, ComputerTalkRadio.com, ComputerTalkRadio.com. Keith M. Sedor joins me now, and Keith... Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Benjamin.
It's Santa Keith. It's Keith M. Santa. What are some of the ideas, Keith?
Who's got a beard that's long and white? Sedor's got a beard that... No, it's actually not long and white. It's kind of still salt and peppery. We're not there yet.
Yeah, more peppery than mine is. But anyways, so what are some of the things that are good gift-giving things for people who are in the Apple sphere, who are Mac users and iPhone users and stuff?
Well, I can tell you, Benjamin, specifically, because I just commented on a post from a client on Facebook who had to run to the store to buy an emergency lightning cable for her iPhone because it had shredded right around the plug area. A stocking stuffer of a lightning cable is always a good gift.
That is. I will tell you, I go through a ton of those. It seems to me that they should last 2 years at least, but I seem to get about 9 months out of them.
Well, one of the things I recommend to most of my clients, Benjamin, and this is advice I would give to our listeners as well, anytime you have any Apple product, not just an iPhone, but a MacBook or an iPad or anything else, don't rely solely on the one cable that came out of the box. That is a recipe for disaster.
Interesting.
You have one of two possibilities that's going to occur. You're either going to be using that cable all the time to charge it, or you're going to be using that one cable all the time to charge it, but you're going to do it less frequently, so your battery will always be drained whenever you go to use your device, and you're always, oh my goodness, 10%, I need to charge my device. And that's never a good thing, because I see that people do that all the time.
Okay, so that makes sense.
So what I actually recommend is get in the habit of having a lightning cable at your bedside, having one in the car, and if you work in an office, have one at your desk. So I'm of the mindset that 3 cables per device is a good thing to do.
Okay, all right.
So for me personally, with my MacBook Pro, I have 3 power cables. One stays in my bedroom, The other one is in my home office, and the other one is always in my bag. And the reason I do this is when I'm going to be going between places, I never have to worry, do I have a cord with me? And I never have to worry, oh, am I rushing out the door? Do I have to stop and coil up a cord and throw it in my bag?
So now I do keep a cord in one of my bags that's usually with me all the time. So I've already got that. I've got one at home by the bedside where the phone goes, and one at the office. Now, what is your thought in regards to the OEM versus? Are there any other brands that you like that you are fond of?
I am particularly slanted towards the Apple brand ones. Yes, they are more expensive, but they are guaranteed. I have. And
are they guaranteed? I had no idea.
By Apple, yes.
For how long?
They have a 1-year warranty on them when they came with the product. But my point is that when you are using any of these third-party products, even though they take great pains to make them look like an Apple product, you never know what is in them internally. And this applies much more to the little charging bricks than to the cables themselves, although it does apply to the cables. There have been a great number of knockoffs that, in fact, Apple has gone directly to China to create laws prohibiting these devices from even being manufactured, let alone being sold in the United States.
Well, I
had an issue with one that I got from Amazon that I believed to be an Apple genuine OEM charger for an iPhone. And thank goodness I ran back in the house for something, Benjamin. This is about a year or two ago. I smelled an acrid burning smell that I could not identify for the life of me what it was. I thought maybe my wife left a curling iron plugged in, or there was a toaster still on. And I'm sitting there for a good 5 minutes sniffing all over the house to figure out where the smell is coming from. And it was the knockoff Apple charger that I bought from Amazon that I actually thought was an Apple original. And Apple replaced it for me for free because they just wanted me to have the right charger, even though it wasn't their responsibility. Yeah. So good on them for that. Yes, they cost more, but Apple will take care of you when there's a problem.
What about Belkin Components and Mophie and some of these other major brand names?
Well, the better name brands like your Belkins, they do make a good product, and they actually work very closely with Apple, and their products will bear an official logo on the outside of the package. It says made for iPhone, made for iPad, and this is an iOS Apple-sanctioned stamp that they put on these packages. The Mophie Juice Pack is an excellent product for a lot of people who don't get to charge as frequently. But one of the things that I find is that a lot of times I've seen people buy the juice pack as a replacement for a battery that's gone bad, and they rely more on this external than going to get the phone actually taken care of.
Yeah.
So I would prefer people to rely a little less on that.
Okay. All right.
If they are able to. But otherwise, I think the Mophie Juice Pack is an excellent product for people who don't get to charge frequently.
Interesting. Very cool. There's a number of different things, and we'll revisit this next week because I'm sure you've got more ideas floating through your head as far as, I don't know, maybe some of the other products too that
people are very interested in the Apple Watch, and I'll talk about that next week as well.
Sure, yeah. This is Benjamin Rockwell,
and I'm Keith M. Sedor. Ho ho ho!
I'll be back in just a moment.
Yes, he will.
Years ago, I found a web hosting company that fit my needs as a computer nerd, as a radio show host, and just a normal person. Recently, though, it was clear to me that it was time to upgrade, but I had a choice between my old plan and the new one at 7 times the cost. It was that awkward point where I could choose between a sip of water or being dunked in a pool. I searched around, comparing the many options for someone like me. After searching around for 3 weeks, there it was, SiteGround. In proper fashion, I tested their customer service, their knowledge, and their willingness to do things the right way. The SiteGround salesman made sure that I didn't overbuy and get a 50-gallon bucket when a 32-ounce soda would do. These guys know WordPress, Joomla, and regular standard websites. These guys at SiteGround are awesome. SiteGround.com. Site SITE, ground.com. This is really rare for me. We normally don't do this many reviews, but this is the gift buying time, and there's a number of things that are going on out there. And there are these guys, TimoLabs, T-I-M-O, labs, or laboratories, and these guys are out of Raleigh, North Carolina. And these guys are putting together a couple of different things that I was really impressed with both of the items that they sent me for review. And I said, you know what? There are things that I'm going to review next year, and there are things I'm going to review right now. One of these is absolutely just great for this time of year. It's a little bit big for a stocking stuffer. It depends on what your budget is, but I know that there are a lot of kids out there. They're looking for these speakers to go along with their smartphone. They're looking for a Bluetooth speaker, and they're looking for something that might be, I don't know, let's say waterproof. Yeah, especially with snow. We've got a lot of crazy stuff going these days. This wonderful little Bluetooth speaker here, it's got some guts to it. It is absolutely amazing. It's got a certain level of waterproof. It actually floats. I think it's I don't remember the actual rating on this. It's IPX7, but I don't know. I think that's like a meter of water, but it floats. So if it gets in the water, it'll just bounce right up and it'll be fine. It's a rechargeable battery also in this thing. And enough to give you 10 hours of listening to music. This is an amazing little speaker. I've been quite impressed with it. It's a little bit on the bassy side. It's got a little bit heavy of bass, but that's what kids like. That's what a lot of people seem to be liking these days. So I really like this small package, and the amount of bass that comes out of it. This is just great. The kids will love this. Micro SD card can fit in this thing too, so you can actually not even worry about the Bluetooth. You just have it playing music off of the micro SD card. And it also can double as a speakerphone, too. And these guys also have another gift idea, and I'm going to throw this in real quick. And I think it's pronounced Amoy 1. And this is a sound bar, sound base, that gives you basically the sound to replace your tinny little speakers. You know, your television comes with those small little speakers, or you may have a computer set up and you've got the cheesy little speakers that you got. Somebody bought it off at Office Depot for like $12, and it sounds like $12. One of these sound bars can really give you great sound. The room-filling sound that, I mean, it's not going to be like the big, huge, monstrous, Dolby 5.1, 7.1 surround sound, but you're getting there. You're moving in that direction. And I will tell you, these guys, again, Raleigh, North Carolina, these guys, a small company, but they're doing a great job. And that's one of the things I like. I like small companies. Again, both of these things, TimoLabs, T-I-M-O Labs. You're probably going to find it on Amazon. Just amazing sound. This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio.
Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio. So I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theradiofactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time. TheRadioFactory.com.
Computer not working right? Benjamin Rockwell can make sense of it for you, helping you gain the upper hand with your computer. Here is Benjamin Rockwell with Computer Talk Radio.
The phone number, 888-NERD, 888, that's 888-6373-888. The 40-year house concept is something that has just continued here throughout the year, and as we progress towards groundbreaking is around the corner, and of course completion is a ways off. One of the things that goes through my mind when I'm talking with you, Marty, or at least in this last week, you're looking at a home that you want it to last 40 years without major maintenance or replacements or anything like that. Now, okay, I am living in a condo. All right, so it's going to be one of those things that's been built by the lowest bidder, but it's 40 years old, and I know there's little areas around here which are not holding up. What are the different approaches you're taking towards making sure that the 40-year house is really going to be just totally survivable without any maintenance or replacements or any of that 40 years from now?
You have 4 hours?
No, we got 10 minutes.
It begins with knowing what it is that makes things fail.
Okay.
And endurance really is a failure to fail. And when you look at it that way, you start to identify not only things that you can look around and see fail, but you can also identify the chains of consequence, the things, the influences on them that might accelerate failure. Mm-hmm. And as soon as you get that acceleration to stop, you have put that failure off for some time.
All right.
Now, in a house, one of the major things that is always going to make it age more quickly is moisture.
Yes, okay.
Especially if there's wood in the structure, but even that doesn't matter. If you've got metal in your frame, oxidation is going to step in.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
With wood, there may be warping. There may be, I don't want to use a long word, but the ground underneath can turn into muck and make the whole thing just kind of collapse under its own weight.
Sure, okay.
And then the outer boards can separate from the inner boards, and fascia, siding, roofing, whatever you have. So I start with the materials.
All right.
Looking at engineered woods instead of dimensional lumber, for example, where there is more sealing within the board, where the stress the handling is greater, where less weight holds up more structure. Those things are important. Down at ground level, yes, we're using insulated concrete forms, ICFs, and that is a very nice way to put up a concrete wall with foam insulation on both sides of it to stop thermal stresses from hurting you. But that really isn't a complete description, because we're also putting borate in the foam to stop insect incursion.
Okay.
There's a sheet underneath that stops both insects and upward, how shall I put it, upward migrating wetness.
Uh-huh.
We're on a slope, so the upslope side gets a different kind of spaced out wicking sheet. So any water that might come at the crawl space, the foundation, from water flow downhill, gets shed away from the structure. And the grading of the place also makes water go away, and that's before you have most of the house in. those are little things. Now, you've got this line of concrete that describes the outline of the house.
Yes.
And what we're putting on there is not 2x4s. It's not stud or, as it's called, stick construction. What we're putting on there are SIP walls, structural insulated panels.
Okay.
SIP walls are sandwich. They're engineered lumber panels on the outside and a high-density closed-cell foam on the inside. The engineered wood panels have more structural strength than standard stud 2x4 kind of construction.
Okay.
And I don't care, how much foam you're blowing in the walls with 2x4s, you're not going to fill as much of that gap as the natural foam block between the walls of a SIP wall. So we gain a lot of independence from temperature changes outside.
Okay,
It protects a lot of the inside of the structure, and in addition, we gain structural strength and integrity through it. Floor joists, actually, the floor and attic joists are the same thing. It's the floor of the attic, and then there's the floor of the house, and both of those get joists, and then there are trusses on which the roof mounts, and those are engineered woods. The roof board itself and the subfloor are engineered woods. And then let's go over the roof.
Uh-huh.
What's on everybody's roof that you've ever seen?
Usually some kind of shingles, some kind of, whether it's, the wood shingles or the clay, whatever you call it. It's not really
the
clay.
Tiles, yeah.
The tiles, yeah.
Yeah. And what do you think is between those and the roof? The roof board.
I think, isn't it just like a little piece of, I think it's like tar paper or something like that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Well, I don't like that. So we're looking at metal roofing, shape metal roofing, and it looks just wonderful. That is slightly raised above the outer roofing board. And in fact, the outer roofing board itself is coated by a reflective foil, a foil that points outward. So heat coming onto the roof will first warm the metal roof, which will warm the air gap under the metal roof, but there's no part of the radiant heat that gets into the attic, or at least not very much, because that radiant barrier reflects it all out.
Okay.
The radiant barrier reflects it all out. Now, on the inside of the attic, what you would regard as the attic ceiling, is a very... very sweet foam. Foam-sulate is the name of it. It's a closed-cell foam that fills that gap and thermally isolates the attic from the roof.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no part of what's happening on the roof gets into the attic. The attic now is thermally bonded with the house below. Mm-hmm. And in our design, the attic is where we put the HVAC system. Yeah, it's where we put the tank that... How do I put it? It brings groundwater to room temperature before going to the hot water heater, so 20 degrees of boost for free. It's where we put the fresh air ventilation. It's where we put a lot of the wiring. The ventilation system to the rooms all come from above in the attic. Our cap systems come from above. And I'm trying, I think I'll be successful, to make sure all of the switches in the place are on interior walls, not the exterior wall. So that, too, will come from above.
Are there any areas which you're struggling with? You're thinking, I'm not sure that this is going to last the 40 years.
Well, there's me.
Okay. But beyond that, for the home itself.
I have that. We haven't decided yet whether there will be a pool.
Ah, okay.
And a pool is one of those elements where I don't know enough about the technology at this point to know if it's possible to build it for that kind of endurance.
Okay.
I'm fairly confident in the exterior of the house using the various fascia over the SIP panels. I'm very confident in the metal roof. We're making the driveway an extra inch thick because that adds to its endurance.
Okay.
So I'm not sure, what could go. Maybe the garage door track. I'm not sure there's a way to upgrade that.
Okay.
We're not dealing with huge, big things. And we're taking a lot of care. We won't get into detail here with things like the water path, with things like the sewage path, with things that have chains of consequence. One of the most horrific thing, the most horrific thing for plumbing inside a house is scale in the water. Well, that's got a priority. There's not going to be scale in the water.
Uh-huh.
So it's, again, doing a lot of homework, talking to a lot of sometimes annoyed product managers, figuring out what it is that can make something die early, and finding out what it is you can do to make it so it might not die so early. And that's all part of the secret recipe.
All of this is absolutely amazing. Of course, if you have any comments in regards to this, if you have any questions, the website is 40yearhouse.com. You can also contact us here at our own website, computertalkradio.com. Slide down the page a little bit and look for it where it says, contact us. And we will pass along all of this information any information you send us, we'll pass it along to Marty. This is Benjamin Rockwell. We'll be back with more Computer Talk Radio in just a moment.
Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio. So I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theradiofactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time. theradiofactory.com.
This is Benjamin Rockwell, and of course, the website, computertalkradio.com. Look, I've been in all kinds of different fields along through my professional career, and actually I should say fields within computers and technology. My background includes one particular field, and so sometimes I talk a little bit more about security than some of the other topics. I encourage you to contact me at the website if you have any questions in any of the other fields. But I am reminded every once in a while, hey, I haven't talked about security a lot, so I touch on it. ComputerTalkRadio.com is the website. But I started out as a field tech, and I dealt with some of the viruses I'm going to mention here in a few minutes, hands-on, in the field. This was back when there were less than 1,000 computer viruses. This was back when I was a field tech. This was back when it was really simple to recognize it and not so simple to catch all of the computer viruses. Later on, back in 1998, I went to work for Unical, where I became the contact worldwide for computer virus activity. And whether it was computer viruses or Trojans or whatever malware, I was the person to talk to. So here's some stuff for you to think about. Security issues are clearly changing all the time. In the old days, we would worry about a virus on a floppy disk. That didn't move fast. And the care and obvious nature of the viruses would actually alert us quite quickly. They ranged from stoned, which was basically, it said your PC is now stoned, and sometimes it did some more, we'll say, political commentary in regards to certain things. We'll leave it at that. To something, the Michelangelo virus. I remember that was one of the first really hyped computer viruses. That was quite a while back. 10,000 to 20,000 computers were affected, but the hype was so great, it was on so much news that it itself was the greater reward to the writer. Everybody got all kinds of attention, gave all kinds of attention to the guy who did this. And we moved on, and things evolved. Downloads from bulletin board systems and later from the internet were of concern. And that gave birth to an industry which we now are familiar with, the malware industry, which was back then just antivirus software. Word and Excel macro viruses would spread. This is just a matter of the programming within Word. When you started up a Word document, it had all kinds of instructions that you could put into it. And those instructions were very powerful. So what we did was we started to disable the needed features. And sometimes it was a race whether we would disable those viruses or the viruses actually would disable some of the features within Word or Excel. Believe it or not, yeah, that was a weird thing. And it would also sometimes disable the antivirus software. Those macros were powerful enough to do that. It evolved over the time to simply you would receive an email and you would click it. That meant we had to do user education on trust. We still do user education on trust. And the antivirus software continues to help us. And then we got to the point where just being connected to the internet, you didn't have to take any kind of action whatsoever because there would be a patch or the section of Windows that wouldn't be patched, and we'd have to go through and we'd have to patch Windows, and we'd have to put up firewall hardware and software just to reduce these hazards. And these problems continue today. You go out surfing the internet. I don't even know that we use that term all that heavily anymore, surfing the internet. But it's I don't know what else we could replace it with. Somebody probably has a good term out there. We explore the various websites, and users within any organization can fall prey to a web attack. See, usually, even today, the human factor is the easiest way to move this. It's you, it's me making a mistake, and that is what allows the bad guys to get onto our computers or the network that we're on or whatever. And there's so much room for improvement along all of these different roads, all kinds of different things we can do to protect it. Lock down the networks. We set up virtual private networks for remote workers. We put up these firewalls, penetration proof, but they're not really all that foolproof. Major brand virus software. These are all hallmarks of a good security strategy. But even when IT managers like myself cover all of the security bases, there's one pesky problem, and that is that there is always a new attack on the horizon. We've seen this evolution from just simple viruses for fun to now, today, it's so much of a money field. They encrypt your entire hard drive. They capture all of your data in your own computer, and they won't release it until you fork over $300, $500, $1,000. That's why backups are so important. And hacking communities, many of them have been based in foreign countries, and they're still in foreign countries, but now they're targeting individuals or they're targeting certain types of information. One of the reasons why we don't want to pay some of these encryption fines is because they're looking for credit card information. They're looking for proprietary information and business secrets. So even though they're encrypting, they're also downloading some information on some of these different variants. The end user is less of a target. You're not so much the target, but your employer is more of a target, especially on small companies that might not have an IT manager. They might not have an industrial strength protection that a larger enterprise would have. Getting any and all information has become the goal, not the specific target. They're looking for anything. They're looking for any kind of money. They're looking for any kind of different lead that they can get into. Hackers are getting more aggressive, and they're choosing new tactics, including non-Microsoft products. Adobe Flash used to be big. It's all but gone away now. Shockwave was another one. It's still out there. Acrobat is increasingly becoming more of a target these days. iTunes used to be a problem, not so much anymore. The various forms of iTunes, QuickTime is now under iTunes. Is various other music software packages suffered. Real Player suffered heavily because it was so vulnerable. How do you know what to update, though? I'll tell you, most companies do not update their software as often as they should. You should probably, I want to encourage you, check with your IT organization, encourage them to do regular updates. I'm telling you, we do that at my office, and I think we get hit less than other locations. Another action that you can take, though, is be very careful about the websites that you use. I should be careful, though, in saying that because some hacks have gone against some of the major websites out there. Some of the biggest websites you have been familiarized with. Yahoo, we'll even mention two political ones, Huffington Post over on the left, Drudge Report over on the right. They have had various setups where the website themselves, because of the ads that they're serving up, have delivered malware. Smaller websites even, all the way across. There's all of these different things, all of these different vulnerabilities, and it helps that you be cautious. Don't just blindly click yes. Don't just blindly click, okay, I understand what I'm doing. Just because you see a window pop up, it looks like something that's part of Windows. It may not be. So don't trust everything you see on the internet. You can trust me, though, because I am Benjamin Rockwell, and this is Computer Talk Radio. I'll be back in just a moment. I'm constantly looking for the right place to get the things that are on my nerd wish list. It's not easy. There are so many stores that have gone out of business. There are so many shady characters online, or so many of them are just simply not capable of handling my needs in a one-stop shop. In 1979, two guys got together and built the brick-and-mortar company that could serve your tech needs. Of course, today, they've got an online presence, and it's called Micro Center. They've got tablets, iPad, yes, but also Android and Windows and all the accessories, too. They've got laptops, desktops, all-in-ones, Windows or Apple, of course, all covered here. Motherboards and processors, and okay, all right, who are we kidding? It's really everything to build your own PC. Keyboards, mice, surge protectors, software, tools, and thumb drives. Enough. Look, from Apple to Zyxel, Micro Center has what you're looking for. 25 stores across the nation, or you can check them out online at microcenter.com. That's microcenter.com. The phone number, 888-NERD. 888, that's 888-637-3888. One of the things that came up recently, I had a post that I received on one of the social media sites. And it was one of those things where, I sometimes wonder if I should respond to some of these people because I do know better. Sometimes I really, really, really understand what they're talking about, and it sounds like a great idea, and yet I know that it's not real. There's a website called Snopes, SNOPES.com, and it's a great resource, and by now hopefully you've all seen that website before, and it debunks a lot of these different chain mail kind of things where, hey, pass this along, everybody needs to know about this. And we'll get to that in a moment. The downside is, unfortunately, that whenever it gets into political stuff, Snopes is, they are unabashedly liberals. Which is which has a tendency to color their reporting, just as the unabashedly conservative fact checkers sometimes overlook the things that are being done on the Republican side. So what I like to do is I like to really see the fact checking from both sides. Unfortunately, not a whole lot of people admit, hey, I'm on the left, I'm on the right, that kind of stuff. Even I'm kind of in the middle. But that's another story altogether, because I don't really talk about politics, and I don't really cover that a whole lot other than, how it affects technology. So anyways, the big thing that went around, though, was this concept that all ATMs have this software built in that allows you to enter in your PIN code backwards. So it's reversible. You enter in the PIN code in the opposite order. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So you would enter in, that's your PIN. You would enter in 4, 3, 2, 1 if somebody was, ATM jacking you. You were kidnapped and being forced to give over your information. Whatever the concept is there. But the reality is, no matter how much they say it's a wonderful idea, no matter how much they say it actually is all the way across the United States, it's not. This entire concept was actually originally patented by a lawyer from Illinois, Joseph Zinger, Zingher. And it's a neat concept, except this whole concept has some holes in it. Let's say your PIN code is 2112. So you enter in 2112, which is your PIN code backwards. That would be a problem. Or let's say your PIN code is 1111. Yeah, it's forwards, backwards, the same thing. Even still, we've got other problems as far as items where you might accidentally transpose some numbers. Yeah, this is something where this could be a distinct problem. Diebold is a manufacturer of ATMs, and they have noted that there is no such emergency alerting system in process. There's nothing out there. This is one of those things where people are going to really mess up if they're under duress anyways. Oh, I'm supposed to remember to type in my PIN code backwards, and I'm already under stress. Oh, no. So now I've got to figure out, what's the last digit? Okay, what's the next to last digit? What's the next to the first digit? What's the first digit? And you've got to type it in all backwards? That could be a problem. Or worse yet, you go along and you've got a friend with you, and you type it in backwards, and then you say, oh, I don't know, I've got a problem with my PIN code. I don't know why it's working. And all of a sudden, of course, the cops show up, and yeah, that would be a problem. But let's take this a step further. How long are you going to be at an ATM? A minute? 2 minutes? Yeah, I know, the guy has a gun to your head. He's in a hurry. He's going to want you to be moving fast. What, you're going to stall? You're going to say, oh, hang on just a minute. I want to check my balance on my savings account. While I know we just withdrew money out of my checking. I want to check that's not going to work. And what is the police response in your neighborhood? Is it anywhere near the 2 minutes that you're going to be at the ATM? Your ATM, the ATM that you might be at, is it anywhere near a police station? Oh yeah, we used the one in the police lobby. No, that's not going to happen. The reality of all of this is, no matter how good it sounds on the surface, there's problems lying underneath. Yeah, we see that over the years, a number of people have tried to go forward and support this concept. They've got people in police officers in a number of different states, specifically New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Illinois, Kansas. They've even pushed the Illinois legislature to make this kind of concept mandatory, and yet, well, they didn't get anywhere. In 2009, another bill was put forward in Illinois. And here's the issue. It's just not going to work. No matter how many people are being basically forced to put in this information under duress, it's still there. It's still just not going to happen. I'm not quite sure where we're going to go with this. This entire concept is just a bad one, in my opinion. There's a lot to be sorted out with this, but we see this all the time. There are bad concepts everywhere, and we need to work with this. We need to figure out better solutions for the people who are sitting there trying to deal with whatever disaster may have already befallen them. Yeah. Again, check it out, Snopes.com, before you forward anything on. Or you can just do a Google search before you make that crucial Facebook post that everybody can sit there and, well, okay, it was my niece who I saw this with, and I'm not going to ridicule her too badly. But, it's sitting there. This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. I'll be back in just a moment.
Hey guys, this is Benny Rockwell. Most of us use video cameras nowadays, but what about those old movie films in the back of your closet? Well, let me tell you about Legacy Digital Productions. They specialize in taking your old memories on film, videotape, and slides and digitizing them to DVDs. Imagine Grandpa's old 8mm and 16mm films that are just sitting in a box getting old and fading away. Legacy Digital will clean and recondition those films, capture them digitally frame by frame, and then produce beautiful DVDs of your precious memories on long-lasting, archive-quality discs. They don't use a projector, and your films can't be damaged in the process, the best available for families like yours. The final results are gorgeous. What better way to preserve those precious memories for future generations? Call right now, mention my name, Benny Rockwell, and receive a 30% discount on your order. Call toll-free 1-866-2-LEGACY. That's 1-866-2-LEGACY. 1-866-253-4229. And tell them Benny sent you. Your memories are priceless. So call 866-2-LEGACY now.
The website during this wonderful Christmas season is, of course, the same as always. It's computertalkradio.com. Computertalkradio.com. If you have any questions for us, anything that you're looking for help for your Christmas buying, your Christmas planning, your whatever it is, let us know. ComputerTalkRadio.com. Scroll down to where it says Contact Us, and we will get back with you. Steve Keske joins me now here on Computer Talk Radio. And Steve, I'm just curious. I imagine you've got some ideas for goofy, geeky gadget, maybe even not even goofy or geeky, or hopefully there's going to have some tech to it. But stocking stuffers.
Don't worry, I've got all the kinds of things that you might want.
Okay, so stocking stuffers. Some that I don't. Oh my.
Oh yeah.
So the techno coal, I don't want that in my stocking. What is it? So what's the first thing on the list?
Well, the first thing on the list is something that if you see one, don't really buy it, because it's not a really, shall we? It could be a Christmas gift if you want. It's a keyboard. But it's broken up in 3 pieces.
3 pieces. Okay.
Okay. The first piece is like all your keys that are usually on the right end of your keyboard.
So like the number pad and
and all that,
the arrow keys and stuff like that.
Arrow keys and all that. That's in the center.
Mm-hmm.
Now take the rest of the keyboard and break it into 2, and make them perpendicular so that your hands are no longer flat on the keyboard, but they're on edge as you hit the keys.
Okay, so we're going to, I don't know, so your hands will be like you're about ready to clap your hands or something?
You got that right. Only they're They're about, I would say about 3 or 4 inches apart.
Yeah, I've seen all kinds of different ergonomic claims on all kinds of different keyboards. This does not sound even.
That's why I say
it sounds nonsensical.
Don't buy it. It's not weird. It's just totally out of the ballpark. So this type situation. It's one of those things that you really don't want to get.
Okay.
In the arena of tech type stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. But made in America.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Not necessarily computer techs, but this is technology where they've added the tech into something that's been around for a while. Vitamix. They're nice blenders and everything.
Sure. Yeah.
They're going a lot high tech with these things. But all of the Vitamix, specifically, I was looking at the mixing machine, all made in the United States.
Interesting. Okay.
So if you want to buy American made, that's the way to go.
Okay.
Or another little one is Maglite. All of the Maglite LED flashlights.
Yeah. They're not only made in the United States, they're made in Southern California. They're made in, I believe they're made in Pomona. So, something says in the back of my mind that it's Pomona, but it's somewhere about an hour away from me, roughly. Yeah. I'm very familiar with Maglite. Very nice, durable flashlights.
How about MakerBot?
MakerBot. I've originally, a long time ago, when we were talking about 3D printers way back when, they were doing amazing things, and then they kind of fell asleep for a couple of years. Now, lately, they have been catching up, and they've been doing some neat stuff lately. What is it that you've found that they're doing?
They are doing the Replicator 2 3D printers now, and they're made in Brooklyn, New York.
Yes, yeah. And that's
which is nifty, which you don't necessarily see all the time.
Now that is, of course, a pricier item there. Okay.
Oh, that's true. That's the truth.
But I like that. I like that. If you're going to get into 3D printing, there are a number of different companies out there, and MakerBot does have a good history with them.
And what I like is the idea that these past couple of years now, everybody's been talking about American-made this and American-made that. Mm-hmm. These are all American-made products here.
Yeah.
Okay? And there are those, and of course, Google Glass, that's all made here.
Yeah, but Google Glass is gone now. Google Glass, that was one of those things where initially I was excited. And then I used one, and I was still excited, but I guess it was the attitude that people had, and there was just that certain pompous approach that so many people had of, I've got a Google Glass. And, that really, there were some interesting names. We can't repeat those names on the air.
No,
that people were using.
There's a few cities that outlawed them too.
Oh yeah, cities and various companies. Whether we're talking, I remember there were some bars that barred them, and some amusement parks that were barring them. Yeah, a neat idea. It was ahead of its time, and unfortunately, it's kind of set us up for the long-term failure of something like that. Smart glasses, at least for, I would say probably for the next 4 or 5 years at least.
At least.
This is Benjamin Rockwell. That's Steve Keske. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. I'll be back with my closing comments in just a moment. Years ago, I found a web hosting company that fit my needs as a computer nerd, as a radio show host, and, well, a normal person. Recently, though, it became clear to me that it was time to upgrade. I had a choice between my old plan and the new one at 7 times the cost. It was that awkward point where I could choose between a sip of water or being dunked in a pool. I searched around, comparing the many options for someone like me. After looking for 3 weeks, there it was, SiteGround. In proper fashion, I tested their customer service, their knowledge, and their care, their willingness to do things the right way. The SiteGround salesman made sure that I didn't overbuy and get a 50-gallon bucket when all I needed was a 1-gallon bucket. The folks at SiteGround know WordPress, Joomla, and more. SiteGround.com. S-I-T-E ground.com for your web hosting needs. SiteGround. I'm going to say this very carefully because I have friends that listen to this. Yes, I have friends that listen to myself, Benjamin Rockwell, here on Computer Talk Radio. And, of course, my friends listen, and sometimes I do wind up talking about some of them, and I mean this with the kindness and respect that I actually do have for my friends. This is I'm not actually calling out any one particular friend in this. This is actually a situation where I've seen this with multiple people all around me. This is an ongoing thing that we have been given technology, and sometimes we're utilizing technology not quite in the same direction that we really should. I think back to when I was growing up, and yes, that was a long time ago. And for my son, I'm gonna say this for him. Yeah, it was a really, 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 really long time ago. Thank you, Benny. I know exactly what you're thinking. If you, when I was growing up, I had a wide variety of toys. When my son was growing up, he's now 24, and when he was growing up, we brought some toys around with us. We brought a coloring book, and that's what we did back then. And that allowed for a wide range of both interactions, but also creativity. That allowed for us to imagine and see the world from multiple points of view. We could play with our little Hot Wheels cars, or we could look at a car that was driving down the road, just the larger version of the Hot Wheel that we had in our hand. And we might play with blocks and learn our letters and our numbers that way, or we might experiment with the ideas of music and so forth, the little piano or the drum set or whatever. Today, I've seen so many people that, we need to entertain our child. So we're going to take something that is far more interesting than that stuffed animal, than that Hot Wheel car, that Matchbox car, the various learning tools that have been given us for many generations. And some of these things have been around for far longer than anybody who's listening to this show. And we take those away. Not directly. We never provide them. Instead, we provide our smartphones or a iPad mini or whatever. And, oh, hey, the kid loves this. And that's actually by design. They're entertained by the smartphone, that screen, and all of the software that's available on it, and all of the different things, because they do get some level of reward system. They click here, and oh yeah, a little smiley face pops up, and babies love to see smiley faces. But I wonder just where we're doing them good or harm through all of this. And I want you to think about that. I want you to perhaps comment back to me on that. This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. We'll catch you next week.
Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio. So I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theradiofactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time.